Hi everybody, this is Danny Class. There are probably thousands of chords really that we could learn, and there are probably thousands of video sites where you could learn from. So I thought for today's lesson we would just kind of take a step back and ask ourselves, okay, what are some important things? Maybe there's one important thing that we could learn for today at least, and I think the major seventh chord is it. I really do, because it shows up in jazz, which yes, I play a lot, but it'll show up in other types of music too, in rock and pop. And whenever I play it for people, they always seem to like it, and they think, "Wow, that's really a pretty sound that you can get from the guitar." And I've used it in other videos, and so I thought we would today learn how to play it. And it's such a useful chord to make your own music. It's such a useful chord to make other people's music, to practice, to play, to noodle around. And so that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today, how to construct a major seventh chord and looking at some examples in the key of A, and also then how to play, but also how to practice the major seventh chord, which goes back to a video I did a little while ago on the difference between playing and practice. So if you're curious on what I mean by that, I would encourage you to check out that video and it'll show you. So let's take a look at the major seventh chord. To define it, it is the first, the third, the fifth, and the seventh notes of a major scale. And so here is a major scale in the key of A. That's the key we'll be using today. So the first is an A, the third is a C sharp, the fifth is an E, and the seventh, or sometimes called the major seventh, is a G sharp. A, C sharp, E, and G sharp. And so then the idea is wherever we can play those notes together, we have a major seven chord, an A major seven chord. So I'm going to start playing some for you. Here's one. These are just some that I'm using for today's lesson. Here's another one. Here's another one. And here's another one down here in the first position, and one more. Here's one more. Okay, so to play them and or practice them really, you can just kind of play them in different sequences to get a feel for them, and kind of find your right hand can kind of find its own rhythm with them. Find a new one. Here's another one. That's off. That would be the G major 7, but you can always resolve. I've talked about this before in other lessons. Like if you go, that's not the right one, just slide, in this case, slide up a whole step. There you go. And a reminder, whenever you play the guitar, you can always add 12 and you'll get the same thing, just an octave higher. So in this case, we can add it up here and keep that, throw in that high G sharp there, and still keep that A open. Okay, so an even better way to practice this, I think, is to connect a nearby A major scale with a nearby A major 7 chord. And by connect, I mean play the notes of the scale and then play the chord. So let's do an example. We'll do one here at the 12th fret. So what I'm going to do is just play those notes A, C sharp, E, and G sharp, where I find them. And then the chord. Two ways to do the scales. One is through patterns, but what I'm doing is sort of patterns, but I'm doing just a memorization of the fretboard, which I have, which I also did a lesson on. And it's really useful because then you really don't need patterns so much, you just know where the notes are. And when you play, the patterns kind of reveal themselves. Okay, so that's an example here. And then connect down to one nearby here. I like the bass strings a lot, especially on this guitar because it's got such a great thump. I put 13 flat wound strings on it just to kind of see, to go that far. And you know, it's individual tastes, but I can't get enough of the bass sound. How about to this one? Let's see. Slide up. Slide down. So that can be a real good practice. Good for your brain, good for your hands, good for your soul, because it just sounds so nice to kind of, you know, bring together scale and chord. I mean, it really never gets old, at least to me. And to even make it more interesting, with this particular chord, the A major 7, I chose it for a reason because you could throw in a lot of open notes. Here's an open E, 2 open E's, of course, the high and the low, and an open A. Those are real strong. The D, open D, will kind of work. It's a suspended fourth interval, so it might not sound that great, but throw it in always and see what happens. Do not do the G, because that's going to be a clunker. That is not the G sharp, that is a G, and that by definition takes it out of the major 7 chord to a dominant 7 chord. And even the open B, I mean, it's a minor second, would work. So really all of them except for that open G. So let's try that. Yeah, that doesn't sound that good, does it? See, the thing is, though, when you're doing the open D and the open B, you're still in the key, but you're off the chord. So it's a little less defined. So maybe the open E's and the open A are better choices. You know, I'm hesitating because I didn't really plan this part of the lesson out on purpose, because my approach when it comes to playing in practice is to try and see. You know, to know what you're doing. In this case, again, an A major 7 chord, but then see, well, right, but what if I tried the open B? It's okay, you know, it's just a little off, but this could spur ideas to you when it comes to making your own music, composing. Okay, so hopefully you found that useful. Of course, you can do these in all 12 keys. Typically you would see probably in C, in the key of C, and I've done lessons on that, but I thought it would be kind of cool to take it out of that key to go to a different key. So, stay well, enjoy your playing, enjoy your practicing. Remember to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care. Goodbye.